Over 7 years and 1,000+ fragrances later, these are still some of my absolute favorites that I've just loved since day one. Quite a few of these go back to the beginning, not all of them, there are some newer ones in here, but man, these have just been some of my best, favorite, most worn, and most coveted purchases over the years. I absolutely love these. And there's a trend. Almost all of these I have multiple backup bottles of, like not just one or two, like multiple. I think there's probably only a couple of these that I don't have several backups of, but most of these, man, I'm stacked deep. I will never run out of these. I mean, I love them that much. Now this first one is, and always has been, a little bit more polarizing. It's not for everybody. It's a very powdery scent. And this smell has existed in a few other fragrances over the years, all of which has been discontinued, except for this one. It's still in production. That leads me to one other thing really quick. I am excluding discontinued, rare, hard to find fragrances from this video. I know not everybody likes that, but a lot of people do because there's some sort of hard feelings when you can't purchase them, which I understand. So make no mistake, I've got some really, really rare finds and amazing, incredible discontinued scents that I still love. You're just not going to see them here today. But this first one is Prada Luna Rosa Black. Now, again, it's a tonka bean and amber scent. That's all you need to know. Powdery and a little bit sweet, but mostly powdery and dusty from that tonka bean. No joke, it's next level. So like I said, this has existed before in a couple of other scents, both of which have been affordable at one point in time. So Midnight in Paris by Van Cleef & Arpels, which is a super unique looking bottle. There was a point in time where that was a cheapie. I mean, hard to believe. I think it was a $25, $30 scent. Gorgeous presentation, right? It's been discontinued for a long time. Can't get it anymore. Similar smell to this, very powdery tonka. Also, Bulgari Black. Okay, not to be confused with Bulgari Man in Black. We're talking Bulgari Black, little puck-shaped bottle, black bottle, obviously. And similar deal, tonka dusty scent, also discontinued. So that leaves Luna Rosa Black. And I'm not saying that they're all exactly the same, because they're not, but this DNA is definitely not new based on Prada's standards. Like this has been done before in a similar fashion, and it's never worked out well. I mean, it's very different. You know, it's not a traditional fresh cologne, masculine smelling scent, and it's not your traditional sweet type of scent either, which is very common these days. So it's in a little bit of a different, tough spot. It's just not going to fit with the trends that are currently going on right now. However, I have always been a big fan of this DNA, and I think for, you know, around $110 or so, what this typically goes for, it's a really good, unique find. Now, this next release is just about brand new. It's by far the newest release within this video, and it didn't take long to shoot up to the point that it is right now, where I just absolutely love it. I mean, looking back on all of their other releases within this line and a couple of their other fragrance lines, this has to be just one of the best works that they have ever done. Hugo Boss Bottled Elixir. I love Boss Bottled Intense. What an amazing scent. Discontinued. I love all of the scent fragrances. You know, Boss Bottled, the scent, Intense and Absolute and, you know, Magnetic, all of those. I love them all. Maninka Fruit, great. But this might take the cake as one of their best releases ever. I mean, truly, it is incredible. It's got frankincense, patchouli, labdanum, some tonka bean in here, some woody notes, but really, it's all about the smoky, sweet, kind of incense sexiness and that kind of olibanum, powdery, syrupy sweetness going on. It smells so good, and also, for what it's worth, quite unique too. And that's kind of where this one is a little bit interesting, because it's obviously a flanker, but it doesn't really smell like the original or the Intense or Boss Bottled Oud or anything like that. This one stands out the most among the lineup of flankers that they have put out over the years, which I think is a cool and good thing. You know, it really is unique, and it's definitely not going to have any redundancy between the others in the lineup, but also just other scents in general. Like this one truly is on its own a phenomenal release that has already hit discounters and as low as $80 for 100 ml for an Elixir new release. This is just one of the best purchases you can make right now. Beautiful scent. Next up, we have Chanel Allure Homme Sport. This was one of my first luxury designer purchases. Not my first, but really close. I mean, this was a while ago. This was back when I was first starting out, so it's hard to remember the details now at this point, but you know, I remember buying it and just feeling so excited because like, wow, I just bought a Chanel fragrance, right? And that was some of the most money that I had ever spent on anything, much less a cologne at that point. So it was pretty cool. And at this point, you know, they don't really have the same amount of hype, and they're not as coveted just because they've been out so long, and they haven't released any new flankers or just any new fragrances in general. So like, you know, a lot of these designer brands, while they're pumping out new things over and over every single year, and it might be a detriment to some extent, at the same time, they really stay in the spotlight. And so with Chanel, their other older fragrances are kind of falling out of the hype and the spotlight right now as far as just online presence is concerned, because there aren't new ones to talk about. Whenever I talk about an Aqua Deo flanker, you know, the original gets brought up almost every time. It keeps it alive. So when they're not putting out new things, people just don't really talk about these older ones as much. You know, this is a 2004 release. It's not brand new, but I'll tell you what, this is a timeless DNA that will smell new and modern for years and years to come. Nice orangey, aldehydic, fresh, aquatic, but also semi-creamy summer scent. Not your typical sports scent, but does have a kind of a sporty freshness to it. Absolutely love how this smells. And at this point, there are many things that do it in a similar fashion for less. Versace Pour Homme, Missoni Wave, etc. But this is still just, it's one of my favorites of all time. You can wear this anytime, anywhere. I love it. Guerlain L'Homme Ideal Extreme. It's got a ton of tobacco and plum, and of course, almond, which is kind of the star of the show across the entire line. You know, almost every, you know, fragrance line has kind of a certain style or certain note that ties them all together. You know, like the Dior Homme line kind of has iris, but they've gotten off the train a little bit. Hugo Boss The Scent has Maninka for all of them except for this new one this year, but you guys get the idea. So almond in this lineup is kind of the main deal. That's what's being used every time pretty much, and it's what makes them all stand out, but at the same time, it's what connects all of these together. Almond is not a super heavily utilized note, which, you know, I think is kind of a shame, because when used properly and done the way that they're doing it here, it's really good, and it just gives it a super classy and upscale smell. And I like the fruity plum mixing with the tobacco. It's giving it a different approach as far as a sweetness is concerned, and then a bit of a smoky richness as well. One of my favorite flankers in the lineup. It's $100. I mean, it's a super good buy. I really just don't see this one in any sort of negative light. I don't even really think it's too polarizing either. I think a lot of people would be surprised at how much they'd end up liking it, even if you were on the fence. But the quality is great. The performance is great. Just the uniqueness and the blend is phenomenal. There's nothing to dislike about L'Homme Ideal Extreme. It's been a favorite of mine ever since I first got it, ever since it first came out. John Varvatos Artisan Aqua. You know, this one was one of my first John Varvatos purchases, you know, just kind of at the time when I was getting started, going through their catalog. I liked the idea and the sound of this one, and so I got it and immediately loved it. I was thinking, okay, I just paid, you know, at the time it was like $35, probably $30 for this, and I just got a product that is this high of quality and this unique. I was just thrilled. You know, at this point it is a bit more expensive. The prices on a lot of fragrances in general have gone up a little bit compared to when I was first starting out. But it's got orange, pomelo, sage, geranium, and a ton of other notes. But it's a really nice citrus aromatic, fresh spicy scent with just an ultimately very unique approach. You know, it's not your everyday usual summer scent or aqua scent as it's named here. It truly is something exciting and fun and different. And that's what I love about it. It has phenomenal quality, very unique. The only downside to these is the performance is not all that good, and it's definitely not up to today's standards, where a lot of things are getting stronger and stronger into the beast mode category. That's not the case of this one, but it is still an incredible purchase. Next up, we have Rosa Parfum's Creation E, or Enigma, whichever one is available to you. They're the same thing, they just have a different naming convention depending on where in the world you are, okay? So, same deal, okay? And Parfum Cologne, obviously. Vanilla, cognac, and tobacco. Just an absolute beauty of a sweet gourmand, essentially. Beautiful scent. I mean, it has this level of expensiveness to it, not in terms of price, which is true, but just in terms of the smell. Such a high-end representation of a scent. I just love it. By far, my favorite time to wear this one is on a night out, going out to dinner, something along those lines. Man, it is just nothing but pure class and elegance. It smells amazing, like in a dimly lit restaurant environment or something, especially when it's a bit cooler outside, I will add as well. Something like this will just, it'll make everything perfect. Love this DNA. Now, I've got the Parfum as well, and I love it. I have the Parfums of all of the Parfum colognes, right? I've been collecting these over the years. Rosa was one of the first really expensive luxury brands I got into. I was getting into Creed first, and then Rosa, which is even more expensive, started following suit as well, spending a lot of money on those. And so, at this point, having my choice of all of them, I still really like the Parfum colognes. You get more bang for your buck, 100 ml versus 50, and the performance is still plenty good. I mean, you really, a lot of the times, aren't going to be needing the 14-hour performance of the Parfum if you're just going out to dinner for a couple hours. So there's a lot of good to be had with the Parfum colognes, and on discounters, typically they're in the low 200s. Next up, we have Dunhill Icon. This is just the original, but what a unique scent. It's been kind of popularized over the years due to the grape soda opening, that fizzy, bubbly grape smell. And it's true. You hear that described all the time, and until you smell it, you don't really realize what you're in for. You're like, grape soda, what? That's stupid. It doesn't smell like that. But then you smell it. And then, you just see exactly where people are coming from. It's to the point where if you were to smell this one blindfolded, having no idea what they're going to present to you, what it's supposed to smell like or anything, I think so many people would pick up on a bubbly grape soda smell. Like it's that prominent. And so what's that coming from? It's kind of coming from the neroli and ginger in this instance. Those are kind of some of the main notes that carry the entirety of the scent, but especially hit hard in the opening, and especially the ginger. Because I've talked about before, Azzaro, the most wanted parfum, which is on the opposite end of the fragrance spectrum as far as it's being much more sweet, whereas this one's a lot more fresh and aromatic. And that kind of has a very similar opening, this grape soda, bubbly smell. And it's the ginger. It's super, super interesting, but it smells phenomenal. And it makes the opening nothing short of addicting. Luckily this stuff is $35, maybe $40. Not necessarily breaking the bank. If you want to come down here every day and just do a spray up in the air and just experience the opening, you can do that, and you're not going to be out a ton of money. Or if you just wanted to wear it every day as a signature scent, it would be great for that too. It's a very nice, easygoing, everyday wear scent that works for any time of the year. Next up, we have Spice Bomb Extreme coming in from Victor and Rolf at around, 90 ml for $105, maybe $110. So, a little bit more expensive, and it always has been, to be fair as well, even before it was just way, way hyped up. It's always been a more premium, pricey option compared to a lot of other designer brands, and even, at this point, some of the other Spice Bomb flankers that have been released after it. It's always been that way. But to me, it's a no-brainer, and it's worth every penny. So it's got the tobacco and the vanilla and the black pepper, and really that's it. That's all you need to know about. Really nice, smoky, but also vanilla, creamy, and sweet scent with a very spicy, peppery opening, as you would imagine, and as you would expect from a Spice Bomb release. Like I've always said, Spice Bomb Eau de Toilette, which has been a very popular scent, is kind of like that guy, in high school, going into college, around that age, just having fun, not a care in the world. Spice Bomb Extreme is that same guy, but now he's 30 and he's got a family and a wife and kids to take care of. It's just more of a grown-up smell, but it still has somewhat of a playful edge too, just nowhere near as much. This is something that you could wear it to work in a more professional environment to some extent and be okay. Whereas the original Spice Bomb, I would probably choose something else. But this one could work for a lot of situations. Great performance, just a fantastic purchase all around. We're gonna finish this one off with a couple summer scents, since I understand that it's summer now, and man, is it feeling like it. It's been 90 degrees here every day and it's hot. So then you would want something like Aqua Deo Profondo. You can get a big old bottle like this for, not cheap, but price per mil wise, it works out to be better that way. 200 versus, 120, 125 that they typically offer. If you're gonna wear it every day and spray it on heavily, it might make more sense to just spring for this size bottle. It's got orange and mineral notes and aquatic notes, marine notes, sea notes, whatever you want to call them. One of the most unique marine scents that I've tried. Just the mineral notes is what makes this one stand out so much. It's a really unique kind of punchy, oceanic smell. I love the citrus and the fruits off the opening. Such a cooling, refreshing scent. I mean, this one, it is blissful in the summer heat. And I'm a big fan of the Aqua Deo lineup. I think they have put out so many great releases over the years, a few of which have been discontinued, but they're continuing to, create more and fill in the gaps. This is one that I'll always love, and I hope that they keep this one around for a long time. Last up for this video, what has been a favorite of mine and a signature scent of mine for years. I've got like 10 bottles of this. It means a lot to me. Even though I don't talk about it much anymore, it's really just more of a personal scent at this point. I wear it for my own enjoyment, and it doesn't always fit into videos. I talk about the clones more than I talk about it itself. But it's Creed Aventus, Love it. Been wearing it for years. So many bottles, so many clones, all that stuff. It's just talked out. So many reformulations over the years that have been frustrating to, customers like myself and others who enjoy the scent. So many clones at this point, which also is like, okay, if I can get this smell for 30 bucks, 40 bucks, 50 bucks, now it's getting tricky, right? So there's a lot of things that have worked against this one over the years, and just the fact that it's made every most complimented list consecutively for years and years and years. People just don't want to hear about it anymore. So I slid this one in at the very end because I felt like it should be included anyway. Just my personal kind of signature scent. And this is kind of a personal video, so here it is. I don't need to explain how it smells. I don't need to tell you about anything, but Creed Aventus, it's easy to hate on, but at the end of the day, it's still something very special to me. Alrighty guys, that's gonna do it for me. Some of the best scents I've tried over the past 7 years and thousands of bottles later. It's just getting insane all over the place, but these really stand out. Thank you guys so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you tomorrow with another one. Take care.